Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PD Sports Podcast, episode 51. We are here ready to go. As you can see, we've got Dom and Damo with us here today. Fellas, how we doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate.
Howdy.
Good. Saw after golf yesterday.
Yeah, nice little round for us with Zach as well. Little honourable mention before we kick it off here this morning, and we've got plenty to talk about from last week because some of us had some good predictions, some of us maybe missed a few predictions, and it's sort of led to a position where this weekend, penultimate weekend of Premier League action, means that there's a title on the line, there's relegation on the line, there's plenty happening. And I think the best place to probably start is West Ham last week. Could have really done us a big favour, but unfortunately Antonio couldn't put them 3-1 up, which allowed City to go 2-2. But without that result, we wouldn't be talking about much this weekend. So what are you puzzled about, Dame?
I think Antonio missed it 2-2, did he?
No, he missed it. They were 2-1 up. They went down the other end and Sufau scored the own goal.
Yeah, that's it, actually. Yeah, never mind.
So that would have put them 3-1 up, which would have been fantastic, but wasn't to be. Takeaways from that, obviously, what Man City's shown they could be get at. What do you guys think of that West Ham game, Dom?
It was a real game of what ifs. What if Antonio finishes that? And I've been very critical, Paul, when we watch games together of Antonio.
Yeah.
I just think he's not a striker.
No, he's not a natural one.
2-3 years ago, he was a right wing back. And they just chucked him up front, scored a couple goals, but I think they need to go in the market for a true number 9. And then what if Mahrez scores that penalty?
Yeah.
He's missed two big penalties now. He missed the one against Liverpool.
He's missed a few.
A couple of years ago, yeah. Normally he's pretty reliable, but I think the moment must get to him.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird De Bruyne isn't taking that.
Who knows what must be happening at training, though, or, obviously behind the scenes, they must back him still, which wouldn't surprise me. But I feel like every time he steps up for a penalty, I'm confident that it's not going in. And that looked like a penalty that, didn't have heaps of confidence, because normally when I've seen him take penalties, he's looking for corners. And that was just, let me hit this one on target, because obviously against against Liverpool, he skied one out of the stadium practically. But Dame, you were the one that predicted a West Ham result out of the three of us. So did it come the way that you thought maybe?
I thought it would have been in a game of goals, and I did think that West Ham would do a job, but did I think they would go 2-0 up? No. Did I think at 2-0 they should have held on? Yes. The thing is that second half just shows how good City are and why they're in this position. Because realistically, I know both of their goals are quite lucky, but on the base of play, they probably deserve to win the game just based on their second half performance alone. Because apart from the one moment where Antonio goes down the other end, which is a mistake, and shows that City do have that vulnerability at the back. Obviously don't have a couple of centre-backs fit, but Fernandinho's back there. It would have been nice to see Antonio finish, obviously, as well. But I thought it would have been a game where it was 1-1, and then it's 2-1, and it's 2-2, and then, end-to-end, and West Ham really went at him. I think the fact that West Ham went 2-0 up, they completely changed second half, just tried to hold on, which, understandable. But, it wasn't exactly how I pictured it. I pictured it, City getting done on the break, City getting done more, because Antonio's a big physical presence, other people getting in and around him, Bowen being Bowen, which kind of happened, but I just expected City to be a bit more dominant first half. I didn't expect City to be that poor first half, and it definitely felt like City were kind of really hoping for half-time at 2-0, but then obviously Pep is Pep, and the team talk must have been excellent. The response was unbelievable from City, and I really thought they deserved to win the Premier League that night. And thank God for Fabianski. Thank God for Mahrez. I don't actually think this penalty was as bad as everyone's making it out to be, because I feel like he's hit it with conviction. It's moving away from the keeper. I just feel like if that's Mendy in goals, if that's against Chelsea, for instance, that's a goal, because Mendy doesn't get to that. But Fabianski has that natural spring, like we talk about from last pod, and he's able to readjust when he goes the right way, stay high, stay big, makes a great save, keeps us in the title fight. And I don't know, I don't want to be overly optimistic because I'm wearing an Alisson Becker headed t-shirt, but this all started from this moment here. It's why I'm wearing it. It's all started from his header from last year, putting us in this position to do this quad. We then have had moments throughout the year where City could have gone and probably done enough to win the title, and it's always been paid back. This is another one of these moments. I just feel like football things have a bit of luck and things have a little bit of stars aligning, and City will look back at many moments that they could have done it, and then all of a sudden you got Gerrard and Coutinho against City tonight, and I just think there's so many stars align where Aston Villa do the job and we beat Wolves, and well, we're celebrating a treble with a quad potentially.
Yeah, look, again, we can move into tonight's games because, us against Southampton was pretty comfortable, other than going 1-0 down to a deflection anyway. But I think we can say the same things, though, about this season. So the game that stands out to me is Leicester away. I just happened to be watching that whilst I was getting a PCR test. But we were dreadful that night. Yeah. And if that's where I feel if we don't win the title, that's the game. Because we were flying at that point, and it was very against the grain, that performance. Obviously, there's the Spurs draw more recently, but I can live with that because Spurs were playing for something too, and it was a high energy game. But for us, I think, just naturally we just shift the conversation into tonight because there's so much to talk about. Obviously, there's the Aston Villa. Are they going to be making a big impact on this title? Obviously, we've just knocked them off recently, but we've also got to knock off Wolves who haven't been the best version of Wolves in the last few years, to be, blunt and honest about it. But they're still a quality side. They're still going to be hard to break down. Even though they haven't been getting wins, they're not getting blown out the water either. So I don't see us turning Wolves over, especially with some of the injuries and the fitness issues we've got. It doesn't look like Salah's going to play. Trent's a question mark. So I'll probably throw it to Dom first as a neutral in this whole title race. What are you expecting, and what do you then maybe think potentially could happen?
Like I said to you last night, I don't see Salah playing, but I still think Liverpool get the job done. But I think Wolves they've been pretty average past month. They got smoked 5-1 by City last week or the week before. I think Liverpool win, but I think people are underestimating and not showing Wolves the respect they deserve and they've commanded the past few years, because they are a great side and they do play well against big sides. They've beaten City recently, the last couple of years, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United. I don't think they've beaten Liverpool head-to-head lately, but
we've had a lot of tight games. I know Verge scored a late winner against them at Molineux maybe 2 years ago.
I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think. But I think Liverpool get the job done. But then again, I also think City get the job done. I think they've been in this scenario so many times. Their minds are fully focused on the league. But it's football, and who knows what can happen, especially on the last day.
Yeah, Damo?
Look, I definitely echo that Wolves deserve more respect. It's not the Wolves we're known for. Usually Wolves are a side that's known for being very defensively solid, being able to go out the other end and score, and being able to see out games and obviously fight for being in that top half, pushing Europe if they can. Maybe it's started the decline of Wolves, maybe, I don't know, because I do have a bit of an aging squad, but I'm never, ever going to say that you're going to pump Wolves. I know City pumped them, but that's because City is City. Now, we are Liverpool, and if we get on top and score early, we will pump them maybe, probably.
Wolves, sorry, just to stop you. Yeah. Only 3 teams have conceded less goals than the Wolves this year.
Yeah. And we're saying 3. And then we're saying they're having a bad year, which kind of shows how good the defense normally is. So I just feel it's not the same Wolves as previous seasons, but they deserve a ton of respect. I do see a world where we come out a bit nervous and tentatively they score the first one, this game finishes 1-1 or something like that, because I think Wolves have a touch more quality than Southampton do, which is why I really echo we need to go inside the first 20 minutes, and we really need the second half to be in front of the Kop. If I'm Wolves, I'm 100%. Switching that straight away. If I'm Wolves, I win the toss, I'm switching sides. Get Liverpool attacking the Kop first half, weather that storm. We're going to the Anfield Road instead. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
So
more margins.
Nil, and
I just feel like we'll get the job done. I'm very confident in that, but there's definitely a world where I see Wolves doing it. And then if you look at the other side of it, it's out of our hands. It's all realistically on City and Villa, and at the end of the day, I'm confident enough to know that we're going to probably do the job. 99% of the time, we do the job here, and now it's just over. Can Villa do us a favour?
The saving grace this week is that because West Ham got the draw, Villa don't need to win anymore, and that's key. So the fact that Villa only need a draw gives you that glimmer of hope. And sort of echoing on that early goal, Dame, if we score an early goal and that then gets echoed to, I think they're playing at the Etihad, I think both of us are playing at home.
Yeah.
So, you know, the minute that rumbling happens in the crowd, that could change the energy, that could change the way the players are playing because they're tense. You know, you can't predict what that early goal will do. So vice versa, if they score an early goal and we find out at Anfield, who knows how we respond. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, Villa, you know, Gerrard's come out in the media and said, you know, these are 3 points and we need them because we're building something here and, you know, trying to deflect the focus from... You know,
I love that.
Yeah, so did I. Rather than trying to buy into the wanting to help Liverpool, because everyone knows subconsciously, like, he'll want Liverpool to win this title. He doesn't need to go and say it, and he's handled that really well.
He doesn't need to go and say that because at the end of the day, he has no ties whatsoever to Liverpool at the moment. He's an Aston Villa employee.
Exactly right. He's getting paid by Villa to win games.
Obviously, deep down, he wants Liverpool, but
yeah,
he still wants those 3 points.
Yeah, and that would be massive. Coutinho's come out and squashed it as well. This week I've seen a couple quotes from him about just, you know, I play for Aston Villa now, so it doesn't really matter. So, look, I'm really keen to be able to watch these tonight because keeping that quad alive is massive. Champions League obviously is a week away. City, as you said before, Dom, City's eyes are on this. Obviously they're not playing another game this season. We've got one more to go. So this would be like for Liverpool, if we could nick this, and it would literally be a snatch and grab from where we were this time last week when we recorded to now. I didn't give us a chance at all. I've been very down the last couple podcasts, and Damo's always said there's been a chance, there's been a chance, there's been a chance.
We're coming.
And I really didn't see it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think West Ham would get the result. I think Dom and I were quite dismissive of West Ham getting, even a point. And then we're, lucky enough that game was at 10:30 our time. So we were able to watch it and have a bit of banter and a bit of a chat about what was going on about that game. But, end of the day, it's coming down to who can withstand the pressure. That's what it's going to come down to, I think, for this next couple of hours. What have we got? 14 hours till kickoff at this point of recording. It's all to play for. And that's what you want the Premier League for. You want title deciders on the last day, relegation last day. Like the last few years, it's been pretty average. The last days, I think 2 years ago, we won it.
Dead rubbers.
We were flying. Dead rubbers, yeah. We were flying. Last year, City were done. So 3 years ago was the last time that it had gone down to the wire for the title. Really, I can't even remember. Like, even though this final day, there's only Burnley and Leeds now that can go down, but the last 6 weeks, teams have been up and down, falling out, getting safe.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been good.
So it has been this whole season, really. And then you've had the top four stuff, obviously, with United and Arsenal and Spurs, and we'll get into a little bit of that from last week as well. But this season's been fantastic. I've got to, it's been tight. We'd love the gap at the top to be a little bit closer. I know, obviously we'll take being further away when you're trying to win the title, but as a neutral, you'd want that gap from second to third to be a bit tighter as well.
Yeah, 100%. And look, it's been a really good season. Top four still to go. Europa League still to go as well on the final day. So there's like every bit of continental football, the title and relegation all to be decided on a final day, which is insane. It's going to be great to start the day with everything as a neutral. Obviously, for us, it's all about, focusing on Villa and City. And look, I'm always confident. I'm always believing. If Jurgen believes, I believe, and he obviously believes in it. And the main reason why I do is I look at that City back four and just be like,
yeah, it's makeshift.
It's not their normal one. And if Coutinho gets going, Danny Ings, I think people just overlook that Danny Ings played for Liverpool Football Club, but I think Danny Ings will be well up for this. I just feel like tonight's a night where Danny Ings decides I am still a Liverpool legend and goes and cements himself along the lines of Diego Origi status and does us a favour, bangs in a couple, and we win the title.
Gets a new song.
It's going to happen.
Gets a song after him.
Yeah.
No, I see this game being one of Ollie Watkins, I think. So he started to find a bit of form of the last couple of weeks. And the way Antonio, he's not as physical as Antonio, I'll give him that. But you put Watkins in those scenarios where Antonio's running in on goal, and I've got a lot more confidence that Ollie Watkins is putting those chances away. So if Villa set up the way I think they're going to set up, and they're going to be looking to hit those, into those channels in between centre back and full back, and let Watkins run in or Coutinho to play those balls into those spaces, then they're going to be lethal. And it's just whether Villa can hold out, and are Villa going to be solid enough defensively to be able to not concede 3?
I think Villa have been lining up with 2 up top for the last couple of weeks as well, and I think that really suits against City. So hopefully, Gerrard does it again. I think they've been using things together. I think in the last couple. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I think they've gone very similar to what Chelsea have done in terms of their system.
Been mixing it around. They've been changing it around.
Switch there. Yeah, but I wouldn't be shocked if they line up 4-3-3. I think they're... Well, I'm just going to put a disclaimer out there. There's definitely where would City win this game 5-1. And I totally understand that. And I want to be delusional about that. But I just feel that there is enough about the back four of the opportunities for Villa. It's just a matter if they're good enough to take it. Agree?
Yeah.
Is anyone else getting on the train?
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with you because you've been lagging a little bit as we're going through. So I'm trying to just keep up with the conversation there as you're talking. But look, as we've said, there's final day is just, you never know. Weird things happen. Who knows? There's a world where we don't win either at home, which, we haven't done for a very long time. We've got a very, 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 very strong record. Since like that January period of last year, we've been exceptional at home. So that's where my confidence comes. But who knows? All to play for. I think it's worth touching on, because we always rip on Arsenal on this podcast. They've absolutely capitulated with 4 points clear, 3 games to go. And we said it too. Again, we predicted this. We said Spurs had the easier run in. Everyone was underestimating Newcastle at home, and they've come out and absolutely... And like Arsenal, from everything that I've seen, Arsenal were just not even in that game whatsoever. Newcastle bossed that game, start to finish. All the commentary from that Arsenal game has been, we didn't even turn up. Fans couldn't remember a shot on target that they had. Like that, and you're playing for a spot in the Champions League, and that for me showed just a lack of experience and a lack of senior leadership in that team, because they've ridden the success of these young kids for so long, and when push comes to shove, they haven't had the ability to drag a game out. So definitely not surprised with Arsenal. It was exactly what I expected. What did you guys take away from that Newcastle Arsenal game?
Off you go,
Dom. People can say we are so critical of Arsenal. It's not because we dislike them, because I don't actually dislike Arsenal, but
neither.
History, we just go by history, and the history in the recent years is just this, which points to everything that we saw against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Can actually have some sort of success. Obviously, they've had success. They've won an FA Cup final a couple of years ago, but they've just been nowhere near the Champions League, and this could be the one to finally get them back in there, get their young stars playing Champions League, generate some income, use Champions League to pull in a true number 9, which they need, another 6 they need, and they just absolutely capitulated against a team playing for nothing. A team who 6 months ago was all but relegated. And yeah, I watched the highlights, and the whole play was just what I saw too. Was just Newcastle running at them. It could have been 4 or 5.
That's the story.
No faith in Arsenal.
Nah, and there's nothing to show that.
Level, there's nothing. Like their young kids are stars. I think Smith Rowe is good. I think Saka's fantastic. We love Martinelli, me and Paul. Thomas Ayew, but they got good players. But I just think they don't have great players. I think their level right now is the Europa League. So I think if you're going to look at the positives, I think, good to be back in some form of Europe. So, take that squad. I think that squad's a Europa League squad. And if they get a run in the Europa League, even win it, that might be the best thing for them.
Yeah, and I echo that. I think that a year in the Europa League isn't bad as long as it's only 1 year. And don't get me wrong. And don't get me wrong.
Twice. Yeah.
They would have rather been in the Champions League. And there's not a world where they don't make it either. Spurs being typical Spurs, throw it away somehow because they just...
Not against Norwich.
But they should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm captaining Son tonight for Fantasy Premier League, so that should be fine, right? But what I want to touch on there with Arsenal is we name all those good players like Dom just mentioned, and me and Paul mentioned it so many times on the pod, it's the lack of depth that they have outside of that. They just do not have the squad to maintain a top 4 fight because, it's not that they threw it away here. It was the injuries they had for a freak game week like 29, a week in game week 34. And me and Paul mentioned every time, as soon as that back four changes, they just concede. Poor Aaron Ramsdale is still probably one of the best keepers that have played this year in the Prem. If oppositions are having 12, 13, 14 chances against you,
You don't want, I say this all the time, you don't want your keeper to be known as your best player.
Yeah, to stand out.
People talk about Alisson, Edison, even Mendy to a degree, like prior to this season.
Yeah.
They might make 2 saves a game. Their stats aren't up there.
Yeah, I have to agree with you 100%.
Ramsdale's making that many saves. That's not a good stat. Saves aren't a good stat. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, because it's showing that you're giving opportunities away.
Those big moments, like that's where you see Edison
and
Mendy, Alisson all come up with those big saves and big moments, but you do not want your players to be in that category. I don't care what anyone says. You don't want your keeper to be top of the saves category.
Yeah.
Depends on which saves category, because I know
just general.
Obviously.
I know Alisson's leading the year for like 1-on-1 saves.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But...
Yeah, and because of our high line, and that's obviously why we have Alisson, because he's probably the best in a 1-on-1 situation. But I understand where you're coming from, and the fact that we know Ramsdale is probably Arsenal's second best player, because I think Saka's their best player. It probably speaks that they just don't have a good enough defense.
I've got it here for you. Saves this year. Mendy's Alisson's 15th, Mendy's 16th, Edison's 20th.
Yeah,
there you go.
Top Meliers made the most saves in the league, and look where they are.
Yeah,
Ramsdale's only 12th.
Okay, that's surprising. But he also didn't start the season as well, Dom. You got to remember that. Leno started the first month and a bit.
Yeah, true.
So you got to factor that in. But with Arsenal, like we've mentioned it so much, and they did have lots of injuries and lots of issues in the midfield in that January period when they didn't strengthen, and that's where they've lost this completely. Like they've done the right thing by clearing out a lot of dead wood. I'll give them that. They've cleared up heaps of wage, but you're then loaning out Maitland-Niles, loaning out Pablo Mari. There's a few there that you go,
you want to know what the big one was that they loaned out start of the year? Saliba should be in that team.
There's other issues there. 100%. There's definitely other issues. I don't think he'll ever play a game in the Premier League for Arsenal. I reckon he's done. I reckon he's out. He's not going to come back. It's everything I'm hearing is he is not wanting to stay. That's why he's gone back to France a few times now already. I actually don't see him coming back into that squad.
I've heard that he's told them he wants to stay at Marseille. He won their Player of the Year.
Yep.
Yeah. He's
and there's clearly a promise or something's gone wrong, and he's now gone nah. And obviously, I reckon Guendouzi would have to be in his ear as well because they've been there together. I reckon they've both just gone nah. There's something clearly wrong culturally at Arsenal.
What competition Marseille are playing in next year?
Yeah, Champions League. They finished second. Yeah, and if you're Saliba, would you go back to Arsenal to go play Europa League, or would you stay in France where you settled?
with a manager who doesn't want to buy of you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's why Guendouzi's gone.
Just a mistake, man, because he's so good. Like Arsenal really could have built around him as well. That's another one of those young kids that they could have put in.
Imagine him being in the midfield now without Thomas Partey. You wouldn't notice a difference.
No, he's quality, and Marseille are going to pick up a great player if that's the case, if it ends up that way as well. But for me, that was a big one. And then obviously Mori leaving, it would have been handy with the injuries they've got. But I've got to give Arsenal a lot of credit for what they have done. I'm not surprised that this is where they're going to finish just because of the lack of depth. And I think that is the big correlation. Is their lack of depth, and the lack of players.
Their gap is massive.
It's just huge. And it's kind of where we were back many moons ago.
Yep.
And,
difference is, though, Arteta's had 3 years, Dame. He's had 3 years. That's not good enough. You can't now say that.
Me and you in this pod have slated him enough times, and me and you in this pod said he probably should have been sacked at the start of the year. And I get that. And me and you probably...
I wouldn't have picked him to finish 5th.
Nah,
but with
I've got to give him a lot of credit.
You have to. For the style of play...
I do, but he's taken them from 5th
to 8th.
Spent £300 million.
Yep.
To 8th to 5th again. With £300 million.
Yeah.
But the football is now different. There's a settled style.
FA Cup he took over halfway through the year. You could say that's Emery's Cup.
Yeah, fair. But I just feel like the style, it's a bit different. Arteta the last 2 years chop, change, didn't know what he wanted to play. No cohesion, no understanding, no direction, no philosophy. This year, he seems like this is what I'm playing. These are the kids I'm going to put time into. We're going to build this system with these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, finally, it's clicked. You stop trying to be Pep Guardiola and started to be Arteta and have your own identity.
That's right.
And now that he's done that, it's a bit different.
Yeah. I think in the grand scheme of things, this is a good season for Arsenal. You're in a European competition. Their kids played. Saka's numbers were ridiculous. Smith Rowe had very good numbers. Martinelli looks like he's
more exposure.
No, he should be. And if they bring in a 9 and a 6, I think they could push for that top 4. So I think Arsenal fans, they're just known to
complain,
flip the table when something goes wrong. But I think it's still a good season. I think it's still a good season for him.
And I think Nketiah stays and probably is the 9, and he's probably going to be better next year.
I reckon he's made his bed at this point.
I think it ticks all their boxes.
Yeah.
But their fans are just prone, and I think it's maybe a stigma from AFTV just to flip the table. Something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
They won 21 games this year. They've won more games than Chelsea.
Yep, but they've lost too many as well, and that's the thing. They haven't had many draws. 13. They haven't had many draws, and that's it. You're talking that run of games: Palace, Brighton, Southampton. You take 2 points there, and you're in Champions League. That the same way I talk about Leicester. There's a period. And the period that Arsenal lost this wasn't the Spurs game. It was that 3 weeks where they couldn't grind out a point, and they were in all 3 of those games. And that's where it's going to hurt them harder because 2 of those games are at home, and they dropped 3 in a row. That yes, they had issues with the squad, granted, but every team this year's had issues with squad. Teams have had COVID. Teams have had injuries. Teams are playing across 3 different tournaments. You're a professional organisation that, you know, with the pool that Arsenal have, they've got the highest ticket prices, they've got the highest everything. Don't tell me your squad's thin by design and then complain about it. Wear it. They cannot complain about not having numbers because they sent half of them out the door in January and didn't bring anyone in. Yeah. I've got no sympathy for their fans complaining, our squad's not good enough, our squad's thin. You had the players. Yes, they wouldn't have played minutes, maybe, because you're only in 1 tournament from January, but sometimes you need bodies. And look at Minamino, who just comes in and plays. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we've got guys like that who, like, just... Harvey Elliott got injured 8 weeks into the season and started last week in a game that we needed to win to stay in the title. He hasn't played. So there's an argument to go, do you need numbers or do you need consistency? And it is a real fine line.
Yeah. Good teams have depth. You could go to City, Chelsea and Liverpool and you could make 2 starting 11s that are competitive in the league.
Yeah.
Arsenal, you could probably make a team and a half.
Not even.
Bench against Newcastle, Leno could start for a Premier League team. Lacazette, Cedric, Pepe, Sembila Conga and Martinelli. That's 6 players who are probably Premier League players, and then they had 3 youth.
But it's all in the same area, though. They're all attackers. A goalkeeper, 1 defender, and 4 attackers. You know what I mean?
No,
and like Pepe hasn't sniffed the pitch at all. Like an £80 million winger.
And he's gone.
Like, I honestly don't know. He's your striker, really. Like, you're at a point, why is he not playing through the middle? Try it.
They want to keep Nketiah right now, so they're trying to give him game time for him to stay.
Well, I think he's made his bed, though. What's a month? 1 month of, you know, here you go, have a crack. Over this has been 2 years of him saying, I want games or I want out. Like, I think he's done really, really well. He has completely shocked me with how well he's done, right? But for his development, he needs to play at a Brighton or something like that. You know, one of those lower teams where he's going to play week in, week out, and I think we'll see the best of him at that point.
Mid-tables.
Arsenal now won't want to lose him because of Europa League, and they'll want him as depth. But if he has bullies, he'll say, no, I've been asking to be the main man. I'm going to go somewhere and be the main man.
But I think they still need a 9.
They need 2 because they're losing Lacazette.
Yeah, true. They need a 9, a 6. They need at least a 6.
And a left back. Tierney can't stay fit. Tierney's... I reckon Tierney transitions to left-sided centre-half.
Tierney, yeah.
And you have him there like the way they use Monreal. Monreal used to kind of be, depending on who we're playing, he'll play left back. If we're playing another team that we need him to play centre back, he can play centre back. Tierney's shown this whole time, he's class. He is quality. And I rate him very highly. but he doesn't stay fit. He just cannot stay fit, and you can't rely on him.
He plays well for Scotland as a left centre back.
Yeah, he plays in a 3 though. It's a bit different.
Well,
it is a bit different.
I could see Aston playing a 3.
So could I. To get their best players in. Saka and Smith Rowe as your wide. You lose Odegaard though. That's the thing.
Yeah, Arteta won't change it for that exact reason.
Yeah.
They barely have one striker, let alone 2.
Yeah. Anyway, so look, we could probably talk all day about fucking where Arsenal are at, and
we'll probably do a pod on it because it's just so massive for them.
Yeah, but, honestly, I reckon we could just do one for each team that's in the Premier League for next season, to be honest.
We probably could, because there's a team I really want to think. In that sort of podcast thing, I really want to speak about Leicester and what's going on there, because I actually think they have a platform, just they're throwing that away. But let's transition in the Spurs then, boys, because they should make it, they will make it, but you have to give Conte a lot of credit.
Big time.
I was just going to say King Conte.
Yeah, he's come in, he's implemented a system straight away, got players to play this system, look good in it, getting the best out of Son, and I think credit where credit's due. And they're going to be really dangerous if they actually decide to spend money next year, which Daniel Levy isn't, whatever.
I think he will, because Conte has got balls.
Yeah.
Look, I see a world where Harry Kane stays now forever and ever and ever because they're making Champions League, which is fine for Spurs. But there's definitely part of me that is like, Son through the middle, sell Kane for 100-something million. If someone comes knocking, you got that much money to reinvest in the squad totally.
Yeah, like they did with Bale.
Finish top 3.
Like they did with Bale back in the day as well. Obviously, they didn't get it right with him, but the difference with Spurs and Arsenal, manager, big tick, but Spurs strengthened in January. Yes, Bentancur has been all right. They needed him, but Kulusevski is unbelievable. He's been unbelievable, and that is clearly the difference between Arsenal and Spurs. And I reckon, and that's it. That is the difference maker. Was that Spurs? We need a winger. Lucas wasn't doing it, and look what happened. Like they've got the job done. The penultimate game when they played each other, they had the firepower, and they strengthened.
For me, it's they have enough depth too. Like they've got depth at wing back. They got Sessegnon. They got regular.
Yeah, they've got injuries too at the moment.
Yeah, Emerson Royale, and then they have Dyer that can fill in, and all of a sudden they've actually got depth there. They've got Bentancur that came in. Obviously, Dejan gives another body. Mora can fill in the front 3 if needs be. You got
Bergwijn.
Yeah,
both their wing backs are out. Doherty and
the starting wing backs are both out. Reguilon and Doherty.
Reguilon are both out.
Exactly. So
and look what they've done.
I think that's massive in this run-in. Is that
they've had Romero out for big periods. Sorry too, Damo. Their number 1 centre-back's been out for long periods this year too.
Yeah, but Spurs have had the quality of depth to back that up, where Arsenal haven't during that run of games. I thought it was game week 29 to 34, but maybe it was earlier, Paul, from what you were saying earlier. But that's the difference for me in this top 4 race, is that is it.
Yeah, quality. It's quality. And Spurs have been set up, though. Spurs are in a better position. They underperformed last year big time, but their squad has been in a better spot over the last 6 years, 7 years. Yeah. So they've got that in there. They did get knocked out of the Conference League group stage very early. That probably helped as well. Like they went deep in that, which everyone thought they probably would have won it, to be fair. We're maybe talking about a different story if there were bigger players in that tournament too.
I don't think they cared.
Technicality. It's not. They got knocked out because they couldn't play their game.
It was one game though. If you're going down to 5 games, Dom, and you need to win one game against Nice, you probably don't deserve to qualify anyway. If you're Spurs,
yeah,
with the quality of competition in that competition, they should have won all 6 of their group games. Really,
100%. And I don't think Spurs really cared about the competition.
Nah,
it helped them out. So
smart.
I don't think it's a big miss.
Yeah. So look, I think we can really delve deep with these analyses of these sides, but it's just one of those ones where all right, what I want to get to before we move into some questions is, who do you think goes down with Watford and Norwich?
I know who I wanted to go down. Everton. Yeah. I wanted them down.
So did I.
Badly.
Look, it would have been nice, but I just think
it was never going to happen. As much as we don't like them, they are a big club.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, it's another 6 points for us, so I'm happy they're up.
All right, let me get the situation up.
To be fair, there has been some legal accusations lodged against Everton.
I've seen
Burnley and Leeds, and it's to do with their finances.
They are massively over. They're massively over.
And they are. And if the Premier League really wants to come down hard on it, which I think they won't, because look, City's been doing it for ages and never had anything but fines. If they really wanted to, they could dock Everton points to a certain extent and parameter that FPL allows. But
Yeah.
I think that's a Hail Mary from Burnley and Leeds that, hang on a second, and I don't think they would, because if that happens to Everton, then we turn around and go, well, what about City? And then what do you do with City's points? So yeah, it won't happen.
For context of games, so obviously talking about Burnley or Leeds here. Burnley play Newcastle at home. Leeds are playing, when I want to get it up here, Brentford away.
Yeah.
And they're on the same points, but Burnley's goal difference is way ahead.
Yeah, you're doing 20 goal swing.
Yeah.
Leeds need a better Burnley's result.
Yep. And Burnley play Newcastle and Leeds play Brentford. And what's ironic is Brentford's 11th and Newcastle are 12th. So
the same team, just one's away, one's home. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the reason why I think this is going to happen is one player. Burnley stay in the Premier League because of Nick Pope. And he's just a better keeper. He makes many saves. And, he's the reason why they're not in the relegation zone, because what he did against Villa was outstanding. 3 world-class saves. One from the header in the last, 5 minutes was huge, as we lose Dom. But, look, I just think that one player alone is the reason why Burnley are going to stay up. And I think that Burnley will survive solely because Pope will make enough saves in the game to get him either a point. Leeds, I think, to stay up need a win, which is not out the realms of possibility. But I think Burnley nab a draw, and I think Leeds maybe nab a draw and they go down on goal difference.
Yeah.
I was saying during the week to someone, Nick Pope is actually ridiculous. He should be England's number 1.
He's a shot stopper. He's got no feet, which in the modern game hurts, obviously, but he's ridiculous in terms of making a save.
He'll win games on his own hands, though. That's the thing. What do you reckon, Dom? Who goes down?
I don't want either of them down, because I love Burnley in the league because they are just a spanner in the works.
They're a pub team.
They can I can see them beating. They beat Liverpool last year.
Yeah, but we had that shitty period at home, though.
But they just do nonsense.
Ashley Barnes type things.
They just you could see them beating City.
Well, how's that penalty last week, though? Sorry to cut you off, Dom. Burnley saving a point through a penalty could be what keeps them up, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love Burnley. But then, again, it's good having Leeds in there. Everyone hates Leeds, but they're good for the league. But I think Burnley get a 0-0 and at home.
Yeah.
Turf more special, and Leeds lose against Brentford. Brentford are a good side. They've been good lately.
It depends what Brentford turn up for me, because obviously they're not. Look, they're playing for 10th if Brighton don't win, but I don't know.
Still, they want to.
Does Rafinha turn up and just play the game of his life to keep Leeds up? That's what Burnley don't have. Burnley don't have someone on the pitch that can spin it their way, the way Rafinha can. Rafinha could easily just turn up and belt 3 bangers in and make it very hard for Brentford to win that game or even get a draw. So that I think Leeds have a bigger scale. I think Leeds' worst is a lot worse than Burnley, but Leeds' best is a lot better than Burnley, and it's what Leeds turns up. And if this was at Ellen Road, I'd be saying Leeds going to win. The fact that it's away maybe takes away some of that emotion, but I just think Leeds have a bigger potential to have an upset here.
Look, I think that the fact that Leeds scored in the dying embers of the game, literally last kick to stay in the race, so they don't just need a win on the final day, gives them the impetus to probably ride that emotion and ride that train into this game here. I agree with Paul. I think they have players like, they obviously got Rafinha that can change a game. I think Joe Gerhardt, obviously off the bench, can do something. Who got the assist on the weekend? It was, what's his name?
Gerhardt.
He got the assist. Stroik scored.
Yeah, the ridiculous assist, as well. Brings like 3 guys and then just pops it in there. I just think Leeds have the potential to win the game, where I think Burnley have more potential to draw a game. And I just think that the way that Leeds have been defensively and the fact that Tony's in form and Brentford at home final day to celebrate staying in the Prem and having a good year, I just see a world where Leeds lose and Burnley get a point. I just see that.
That's probably the most realistic outcome.
Because out of the two, I want Leeds to stay up more than I want I want Leeds to stay up more than I want Burnley to stay up, because I just think if Leeds go back down again, we may not see them for a while. And I think they're too historic. They've had so many injuries that this year, that for them to stay up is huge. And I think they could actually do something next year, finish top half even if they get the right players in. Where, for me, Burnley stayed in long enough. The fact they sacked Dice, which could work out for them, which is ridiculous in my mind, that they could even work. I just feel like that's, for me, is a swinging factor in who I want to stay up. But I see a world where Burnley stays up thanks to Nick Pope more than I see Leeds winning and bettering the Burnley result.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen potentially Leeds and Forest in the league at the same time. You know, obviously we're a week away from the championship playoff, but Huddersfield and Nottingham Forest, we'll probably talk about that during the week. Having those historic teams all in the league together would have been fantastic. And I don't know, if Leeds somehow stay up and then Forest come up, you're talking, you know, very vintage late 90s Premier League type of situation, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's where we're sort of at with the relegation fight. When it comes to Europa League, we've got West Ham fighting for a spot there, which kind of leads into our first question, which is from JS. Does West Ham get top 6 or will United beat them to it? And I'll go to the second part of that question in a moment. West Ham play Brighton away. Manchester United are playing... When I want to... Is it Palace?
Palace at Selhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah, Palace at Selhurst.
All right. So some interesting games there. And the situation is West Ham need a win. United need to lose. Draw, sorry.
No.
Draw.
West Ham have the better goal difference.
I have the better goal difference.
United's goal difference is 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace have a better goal difference.
But we've slapped them up twice this year too, so that hasn't helped their goal difference.
They've been slapped up a couple of times.
We've had 9.
And they haven't had, I don't think United have had a convincing win.
Nah, round 1, Leeds. Pogba 4 assists.
Oh, well.
I mean, I know that's not great, but they won 5-1.
I'll tell you what happens here. Palace beat United, West Ham make the 6, and United are in the conference league next year.
United and Palace draw, and West Ham beat Brighton.
Well, that still gets United in the conference. Imagine United
That's
in
what
the
I'm saying.
conference league, man.
Now we're playing away days in Iceland.
In Azerbaijan.
Nah, they'll throw it.
What do you mean they'll throw it? Oh, that competition? Oh, yeah, no, they're not going to take it seriously. No way.
Just play all the kids and that's it.
Yeah, no way. All right, the second part of JS's question is if Declan Rice goes, who could replace him? I've got a name that I'd go straight for.
Yep.
I'll tell you. Declan Rice, sorry, JS, Declan Rice isn't world class. He's just a good midfielder, nothing special.
If he stays in the league, though, he goes for 100 million. That's a problem.
That's how stupid it is.
Yeah.
He's not world class. He's a good player, not world class.
Yeah.
You would have put him in the same bracket as
Kante.
Fabinho, Kante, Rodri. He's nowhere near that.
Fabinho, yeah.
So,
So,
see him at Arsenal?
I could.
Arsenal wouldn't pay the money for him.
Exactly.
Not what West
I'd
Ham
love him
want.
at Leicester with Brendan Rodgers. That's a sideways move, though.
Yeah, it is. The only team that would pay for him,
Chelsea?
theoretically, is nah. I think it's City.
I don't think Chelsea want to borrow him.
Okay.
No, I think it's just City. If City wants him because of these English, they'll pay 100 mil like they did with Grealish, and West Ham are probably very happy with that.
Yeah.
I think if I'm Declan Rice,
I don't think he goes, though.
If they make Europa League.
I don't think he goes.
I'm taking Souček over Rice every day of the week.
He's their captain, surely. Surely he's the captain now. Noble's gone, so I don't see that. The replacement, though, for me is Basuma.
Yeah, 100%. You just chase.
I love that guy.
He's so good.
I love that guy.
He's class, and that he'll cost you 30. You know what I mean? Like he'll cost you 30 to 40.
I'll throw another one in there. Down. What about Calvin Phillips?
Yeah, that's a great shout.
Yeah.
He's breaking up a bit, Dame, for me. I don't know if you're breaking up for Dom.
Calvin Phillips.
Depends if Calvin wants to leave.
I think
he won't stay in Championship.
No. And our end of season review, we cover those players that have gone down that could go
to other teams.
Because I think the massive one in this, if Leeds go down, Rafinha's release clause is £25 million.
Yeah.
That's our backup right winger.
Who would not go near him?
Liverpool get him straight away.
Yeah.
I think he can start at most teams.
All teams bar Aston City. Like start.
Yeah,
if he's going to play right wing.
If Mane or Salah leaves.
If Salah
Now,
leaves, then
Mbappe
he
fiasco.
starts every day.
It's Mbappe fiasco. Real Madrid are going to be throwing bank at Mane or Salah.
Yeah,
Absolute bank. That's for
that's a
another
whole
day.
nother episode, I reckon, in its own.
Yeah, it is.
That
After the Champions League.
Mbappe fiascos.
Yeah, after Champions League.
Two pods on that, and what follows from that, because there's going to be a lot that follows from that.
All right. Any other names that you guys reckon? So I've said Basuma, Dom reckons, old mate, Calvin. Who do you reckon, Damo? Who goes and replaces?
I reckon I actually have a bit of an out there one. I reckon they change system to 1 DM, and that's Suchek, and they actually get Oxlade-Chamberlain from us, who's out the door, and plays in the box.
Yeah, it's a great shout.
If they can get him fit,
That's a great shout. I like that.
That's where I think that's what happens. English West Ham, he'll enjoy it. He's fit as well.
Gets back in London.
Yeah, they need to get him fit and consistently fit.
It'll be cheap
Got
as.
he's ready for.
He'll have to take a huge wage cut though. He's on big coin.
Do you want to sit on the bench or?
Yeah, but he's not even on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. So
He's not even in the matchday squad half the time.
The only other one is James Wood-Prowse, but they would want so much money. Southampton, that is probably.
Nah, they're just different players too. I think.
Who die at that club?
All right.
I think he could be tempted.
Next question. Thoughts on Western United shocking victory and proving everyone wrong from Rods?
I actually watched that. It's the second A-League game I watched this season. Paul, were you?
I watched the last little bit with you last night.
Nah.
It was already 3-1 by the time I got to your place though, so I missed the fun bit.
Western United were all over them. Melbourne victory looked like nothing.
So that's A-League, typical A-League.
Good for Western United to make a grand final. It's only the second, third year in the comp, so hopefully that's what I was hoping, because if Adelaide United win,
That'd be a great final.
Fancy us against Western United.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get up today.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
I think we can. I think we can.
I think we will. But in terms of Western United shocking the competition, I'm not too shocked. Rods, you got a good squad.
I've been around the mark for 2 years.
Shocked about it. Yeah.
And they've done it without Diamante.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not too shocked at all. You got a good manager too. It's Johnny Aloisi, is it not?
Yep.
He's been there and done it all. I just think that I'm not overly shocked. Do I think that they are the team that I thought was going to be in the A-League Grand Final? No. Do I think they would have made the semi? Yes. So I'm not too shocked that they made the final. I thought that, I really expected like Sydney FC and Melbourne City probably to be duking it out again, but
yeah. Nice.
Ned's coming for you. Nestri Irakunda's coming for you.
Hey, the boys are coming. Bernardo's going to.
The boys are coming.
Rings.
Alrighty.
Youngsters are coming, mate.
We've got a few little facets to our last question here from Dim. So this is going to be short, quick fire questions here. Top goal scorer, Premier League. Who have you guys got?
Son.
Salah.
Son, because Salah doesn't play.
Damo, you just said you captain Son on fantasy.
I did.
You're going to say he doesn't score a goal.
No, I'm saying that Salah.
5 assists for Son.
For what I hear, Salah is apparently on the bench. He'll come on 45, play 45 to get ready for the Champions League.
Oh,
How's that, Dom? How's the one eye?
I have Salah in my starting 11 on fantasy.
I took Salah out this week for Son for this reason.
I left him in. I've
All
got
right.
both.
So we've got majority.
Message at 2:30 a.m. if Son wins it from me.
I'm at the Aqaba, mate. More than welcome to come join.
Nah, you can have that by yourself, mate. I'm just going to get this up in a second for us because I don't know who the leader of this category is. All right. No, assist.
That's up by a point. And just confirming, everybody, I've just been on the Fantasy Premier League app. I'm now made Marcus Alonso my captain.
Oh.
Alonso?
Yeah.
Why?
Paying Watford.
He's the best striker at the club.
The best striker at the club.
Popping on, gets a goal, clean sheet, bang, 30 odd points.
Alonso.
All right.
He's just been made
Funny
captain.
story, one FIFA Ultimate Team. Remember Paul was playing at right wing, left wing?
Yeah.
He would just score bombs.
Back post headers and volleys.
Yeah, he was a freak.
That freaking Europa League live card. All right.
I should have been a winger.
The highest assist getter of the league. Now, I can go through the stats with you if you like, because at the moment, it is Mohamed Salah leading with 13, then Trent with 12, and Bowen with 10.
Trent wins this. He gets 2 assists.
Nah, I'm going to stick with Salah. I don't think Trent gets one.
Do you think he plays at all?
He actually probably won't play. Actually, they're talking about him not playing at all. Sorry, that's my
Gary
fault.
getting 4 assists. Just
Nah.
new jails.
The news out the camp is Trent is gonna play tonight though. So
Redmond was saying he
I don't
probably
think
wasn't.
You won't know. You can't even tell.
Yeah.
It's just going to be.
I think that it's going to be a tie. Trent gets an assist.
Yeah,
Or Salah wins it late. Or Salah gets an assist with a goal tonight off the bench, and there you are. I think both will play.
He's not playing, mate.
He ain't playing.
I think he's there.
All right, next category is clean sheets. Here we go. So going into tonight, Alisson and Edison tied first. Then, so with 20 clean sheets, and then it's Lloris of all people with 15 in third. So there obviously can't be a change to the top two. Who has the golden glove? This could be massive in the title.
It's a tie. Both concede tonight.
Both concede. Okay.
Both concede tonight. It's a tie.
I'm saying they finish on 21 each.
I don't want that to happen.
Aston Villa.
Tie.
We need Villa to score a goal. So I'm saying Alisson.
We concede, they concede, tie at 20 each.
Oh, that's big. All right. And Dim's last part of the question before I get into my question for you guys. Who's been the biggest flop this year?
Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, good shout. That's a great shout.
I think your top three. Lukaku has to be in the conversation. But he hasn't been put in a position, though, to do well. And the same with Grealish. So, like, they're the other two that I'd talk about.
Grealish is up there.
Yeah, but I just don't think he's been used well enough, though.
Look, I think Daka at Leicester's done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but there's no...
He's been a Conference League bloody champion. And then, again, though, they've used him sparingly. And I think that's what we're noticing, is if these guys don't, like... When you blood them in, either don't play them at all or back them. Like, don't give them minutes here, minutes there, minute there, 20 minutes here, 5 there, because that doesn't help the development at all. Like, if Fabinho, he knew 6 months in, my role's not to play right now, but I'm learning everything. I'm learning the style. I'm learning the system. And then he's had that run of games. Daka, Grealish, Lukaku really didn't get a good run at it in the way that the managers wanted them to play. Grealish was playing up front. He was playing on the right. He was playing in the middle. He was playing on the left. How do you learn a new team if you're getting thrown all over the place?
Yeah, and then Pep does that. Pep has his rotation, and Lukaku, there was a lot off-field dramas. I think he'll give it now that's all kind of behind him. You'll see him flourish next year. So I think it's got to be Sancho.
Yeah, I've been saying Sancho all season.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
especially he was an absolute bowler his last 2 seasons at
Dortmund. Yeah,
Dortmund. He was cracked.
Yep, I hear you. But Sancho wins that one easily for flop of the season in terms of transfers.
Alrighty. And then my question, who's lifting the trophy tonight?
Oh.
Liverpool.
Damo.
Liverpool.
I like to speak on history, and I think history says City do it. But I wouldn't, if Liverpool do it, I wouldn't be like shocked to the end.
I can't not back it. By Craig Johnston Guernsey.
Use this as a thumbnail.
By Craig Johnston Guernsey, he's going to do it.
Nah. You know what's going to happen? Because I'm wearing the Alisson shirt, I'm just going to put it out there. City are drawing. We need a win. We're level 95th minute. Alisson goes back-to-back years scoring 95th minute winners. Everyone loses their mind.
Yeah, imagine that's the case. Just imagine that happens. That'd be
that's what I'm saying. Just in case if it actually happens, I called it. But
Damo might genuinely die.
Jump off the top level of the Aqaba.
It's just going to go noop.
Oh, God. All right, any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap up? Anything you want to cover, touch base on that we've missed, maybe?
No.
Damo?
Going to be a massive off-season, I think.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Yeah. I just
shaping up.
The season's over, but does not mean that there's not going to be a lot to talk about Premier League-wise over the course of the off-season. There's so much, squad change I think is going to happen to a lot
around Europe as well. I think it's a Mbappe scenario.
It's going to have a big effect on everything.
Worms. Yeah.
Yeah. And, all the contract talk that could happen with our boys especially. But, if there's things that you guys want to just talk about Premier League-wise in the off-season, if you want to do a podcast on a certain team or of a certain capacity, let us know. The Discord link is down below in the pod and on the YouTube channel where this comes out. Let us know, even a comment. So, get around it. Let us know. We're more than happy to break down everything. And
I
that would
think
be
what
my
would be
last
yeah.
thing.
What would be
So-
great to do is a pod where we just go 10 minutes, cap it at 10 minutes. Doesn't matter who it is, if it's our teams or not. 10 minutes. We go through the 20 teams in the league next year. The teams went down. The
Yeah.
teams that come up, and we just cover the season, the off season, and into next season. We just cap it at 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do a 20, 10-minute pod, as in like
Oh yeah, we just do
Every
half at a
team.
time or something, and
Yeah.
we just cap it at 10.
part
That's
1
it.
and a part 2.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then we can probably talk about who's coming up as well, because that'll be important.
So the three that
Oh, yeah.
the three that come up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last thing, who's coming up, boys? I think Forest do.
Yeah, Forest. Oh, we'll talk about this probably next week beforehand,
I
but
think Forest come up, and that's next pod.
I really want Forest too. But one other thing we got to mention before we go. Last night, Dom did ask right at the start. I don't know if it was actually on air or not, but Sunderland are getting back slowly. And we were talking about this last night, Damo, with Dom and I. I really want Sunderland back. It's not that.
So do I.
It's not that it's because they're this historic team, yada yada. I want the narrative of Newcastle have the cash, Sunderland have the passion. I mean, Newcastle do too. I'm not saying Newcastle don't, but imagine like the derby of the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I hear you.
imagine how good that would be. Just they will hate. There'll be fights. There'll be probably people getting pushed in the Time River. But I would love that so much.
I think it would be madness. I just want the bright lights back at the stadium alight. I know I used that for a YouTube save like ages ago, but I want them back only because of the drama that club has been through and the history they have.
Everyone's homework.
And-
Go on Netflix and watch Sunderland Till I Die. It's
it's
the
great.
best football show documentary you will ever watch.
Way too many
Do
people.
yourself a favour.
Way too many people I know haven't watched it. And I go, what are you doing? Like, it came out like 5 years ago. Like, what are you doing?
So good.
That is on Drive to Survive level. I don't care what anyone says.
It's better.
It was just as good. I think it's better than last season's Drive to Survive.
Better than
The
all
Josh
the,
Madger. Just Josh Madger. that whole intro.
Jack Rodwell.
That too.
All right.
If you haven't watched it, watch it.
Speaking about that, Arsenal have got their whole season coming out on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I know.
That might be better than it.
It might be.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it will be. The fact that they didn't get Champions League, I think is going to make it even better.
Lock it in, boys. Live watch along. We're going to be commentating as we watch it.
Oh,
Great.
God.
Everyone in the same house.
I'll be laughing too much.
This will be so good.
He's laughing at Pablo Murray going out on loan. All right. Boys, thanks for your time this morning.
Anytime,
Last little
mate.
comments before we wrap it up.
Check
Plug
us
what you're
all
doing.
out on Discord and podcast and everything like that. Me and Paul got content flying out of the wazoo. I'm actually doing a journeyman with Adelaide United, starting at United. So if you want to see someone go from literally a club that they could have coached that many moons ago to freaking, whatever could actually happen in a theoretical world, that's something for you. On top of that, Paul's got his content coming out, and well, Dom's always going to be here, and we love him to bits. So there you are, lads. And thank you yet again for another good season of podcast action, Paulie.
Plug the Twitter, Dom, as well.
Yeah. At Dom Tromboli _ you will not be disappointed. Go the Crom.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Episode 51. That is a wrap. Make sure you get in the Discord by clicking the link in the description. I'll have it in the description of this video. Damo's links will be in there. I'll link Dom's Twitter in there as well, along with my social links. Once again, thanks for all your support, and we'll see you very, very shortly for episode 52 of the PD Sports Podcast.